What's up, guys? Sitting here reading comments. I got multiple things going. Jess is in the house. All right, cool. Let's let some people jump on. Man, this A cushion. I'm at the office. I haven't seen these shirts in a while. I upgraded my tank tops. It's crazy. Hope everybody's having a great day. I wanted to if you guys ask if you guys share it around. What's up, John? What's up going on? Hey, we're going to talk about trucking companies right now because I started talking about it last night, even though it's trucking webinar week. And I want to talk about some of the things that people are doing wrong and some things you should think about your trucking company right now. And you guys can share this video, watch it later. I know it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody's like, "We're working right now. We're getting unloaded, or we're getting loaded, or most people are at their jobs. I don't know. They should be like doing a lot of networking right now. What's up, Tar Jet Holly? Man, I like it when YouTube pops on. So, in the next little bit while we pour it around, I want to talk about trucking companies in general, right? Because it's trucking week. And so I want to talk about your trucking company and what you're doing with your trucking company right now. I want you to think about what the story about your trucking company. Like, understand um, when you're thinking about setting up this trucking company, when you're setting up, like, because I think a lot of people do it wrong. Like, first, they don't understand why. Who are you putting involved? Why are you doing this trucking company? What are you going to do this trucking company for? What type of equipment are you going to buy? Why are you getting that equipment? What's the difference between company drivers, owner operators, and just using owner operators and buying trailers? You know, think about how you're going to drive the truck and really maintain compliance and safety. Think about how you're going to build a product longer than that 2 hour orientation you have right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of your biggest problems. Like, you wonder why you can't have drivers. Well, you're not protecting them. You don't have any authority. You're not teaching about maintenance. You're making up the rules as you go. So I wanted to come on and really talk because we're going to be doing trucking with a bunch of people tonight. And this is my last trucking webinar that I'm doing. It's cool. It's kind of like weird saying it because we're starting Shaggy's Logistics and Associates. And so as I'm finishing these last 3 bootcamp webinars, I'm doing a bunch of homework on my sheets as I do it. I'm updating things. I'm setting up training for the new classes, freight cells, and we're doing a lot of cool stuff. We got a bunch of agents that are going to be working with our new company. We're lining up. We have Tarina and Mandy Akers and Chandler that are getting ready along with Jacob. And there's a whole bunch of others that are, and Isaiah is going to be coming along that are going to be coming in as dispatchers and brokers with us. So we're really kind of gearing up and we're thinking about these trucking companies because we have a trucking company too. And these agents like Mile High and Hanson Logistics and William Triplett and Gordon Parsons or Parsons Trucking, all these guys, they all have freight and they're really ready to put a plan together to start growing. And it's hard because you can't trust people. You're always scared they'll take your customers. You want to go after customers, but you need to be able to control the trucks. You just don't have a team. So in your trucking business, it's like in your authority, you start to think about who's going to help you, what's involved, who's going to do the dispatching, who's going to do the compliance and safety, who's going to do the maintenance. Where am I going to get the tires and all that stuff at? Where's the shop? Will I be able to make it power only? Where will I get trailers from if I can't let or rent them? So here's the thing I think you should start thinking about. So if you guys want to type any questions about your trucking company or what's going wrong with it, if you guys want to do that, you're more than welcome to. You can type them in the chat. Why is your trucking company messed up? Why did so many people get talked into starting an authority with their credit, their savings, or whatever, and buy a truck from these places like Select Trucks, Lone Mountain, OTR Leasing, and all these places where they put $5,000 to $10,000 down and expect company drivers to fall out of the sky? Hello, hello. I'm asking you guys, why did you guys do that? Why did you go out there? Why are you still driving? Why did you invest into that second truck? The craziest thing about a lot of this is how come we don't learn the product before we start? How come we don't learn how to build the lanes. Like literally, so I'm going to show you guys some tricks. Like, and this is for brokers too, because see, brokers have to find out what other brokers are doing or what carriers are hauling, right? What's up? I can't see everybody's name right now, but I do see what's up. Um, well, we are doing great. What's up with you? Hey, so we understand. Do you guys know why big one of the big reasons why the big brokers are able to do what they do? People with no trucks. It's because sometimes customers have more freight than you can handle, and a carrier is really as good at providing service for their carrier. Sometimes they can have trucks and owner operators. Sometimes they can get one customer, but the problem is they don't work good with others. So unless they get more drivers or owner operators, they can't go nowhere with it. So then they leave freight on the table, and this big bad guy comes along and he takes the freight because he goes and does the work you can't do. Just like when I tell you guys all the time, you should make residuals and multiple streams of income, but you get so busy moving your trucks trying to get customers or broken loads that you can't do it. You know what I mean? So tell me this. If you're going to open a trucking company, right? Whether your friend told you to do it, whether you thought it's a great idea, somebody told you to buy a truck, or you're an owner operator wanting to grow and move, or it's the thing for you and your wife to do. You've been driving on the road, you got 5 trucks with forward air, and it's time for you to branch out. One of those things, right, is the reason why you're opening a trucking company, right? So how come people, if dispatchers and brokers can get load boards, and everybody can get load boards or e-carrier check, different types of things to search and find brokers that have freight and to find customers, how come people don't start networking? Like literally, right? So why don't you go and draw a 150-mile radius around your house, right, where you live, or where you want to get customers from, right? Whether you're a broker or a carrier, reverse. Or what you do is you look at that United States map behind my head back there, that one over there, and you're going, well, I don't want to run in California. I don't want to run in the Northeast. I like that Midwest box right there. And the Wild West kind of sucks because Denver kind of blows. So you're like, so you get an idea where you want to run. So this is before you guys start. And even as a broker, right? It's like, where do you want to get carriers and where do you want to broker freight, right? Like, think about it, right? So carriers, what are you going to do? It's like, what's your plan? Because you're going to just run brokers. You go into Amazon. You're going to live off Selectus. You got this dispatcher service that's going to run you and then they quit. You're going to go lease on with Menards. Or are you going to go take your power units on your authority and go home for some food place that has tons of trailers that's drop and hook? They just don't have enough trucks to go with their trucks. What are you going to do? Have you called these people before you paid the insurance and did the authority? It's only 31 days later, right? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. It's only 30 days later, right, David? So you think about it. You go to the load boards, you go to ecarriercheck.com. Now, this is before your authority is active, right? This is before your authority is active, right? And you don't have to go find warehouses, go find shippers that have flatbeds and dry vans in their parking lot, and then kind of take a picture of their name, Google their name, go to eCarrier Check, see on there if they work with carriers or if they're working with brokers. Call a few before you start. Call some carriers. Say, hey, my name's Shaggy. I noticed you guys got 5 trucks. You're about 30 miles away, man. Do you guys haul for brokers? Or you guys haul for customers nearby direct? You know what I'm saying? Well, have you even tried it to see if they would talk to you before you start your authority? Did you go and send an email out to every broker in a 100-mile radius or even a 500-mile radius to say, hi, my name's Shaggy, and I got a trucking company open in 30 days. We're going to be specialized in dry van. We'll have like 3 trucks, 1 truck, 2 trucks, whatever. And we are going to need freight. Now, here's the kicker. You're going to tell them, I need freight running within 150 miles of where the Indies, and we could do 45,000 pounds less. We have dry van trailers, or we could use your trailers. We will drop and hook. And we're really excited to work with you, and our drivers like to be home every other night on weekends. So that's why we try to stay specifically in this area. And then you got other emails you send out that says you'll go from St. Louis to Nashville or St. Louis to Cleveland or St. Louis to Chicago, right? You're like, well, why are you looking for specific lanes? Well, that's because I want to be able to build a product I can sell. And a lot of times it's going to end up in a bow tie or a triangle because it's hard at first to get straight stuff back because it just is. And then you start getting luckier. And then you mix it up between brokers and carriers or customers. And this is good because as a broker, you're going to need these to be able to fill in the backhauls for your carriers that you don't define and to find other customers, right? For as a carrier, when you guys get your customers, you're going to need how to do this to go help other carriers that don't know how to do this. So that way you can control your customer and keep C.H. Robinson out or other brokers like that, TQL. That's how you keep them out. And you do it better and better, bigger and bigger. And but see, the problem is that's why we have this freight sales class coming up. You don't know how to talk to other carriers or research the customers the right way. You don't know how to call a carrier and get them to sell you, let alone get a carrier to use you with no credit. So now you're stuck again running your trucking company that you didn't have no plan. So back to it. So who's going to help you with this? Because a one truck guy that just one truck's one thing. A guy that bought a second truck's an investor. A guy that added on owner operator is an investor. Now the game's fucking changed because there's more money involved and other things. And then are you just going to live off load boards or are you going to go find a contract and just cover that contract direct? And if that contract cancels, what are you doing next? Why are you opening your trucking company? If you're an investor and you're in real estate and you go and take a drive-in trailer that's $50,000 divided over 36 months, that's 486 a week, or vice versa, give or take. An owner operator or somebody, they're paying, it's like, we're not paying that much a week rent. The company I work for takes care of. How much percentage do they charge you? 30% and I get 70? Okay, well, you're still paying for it. No, that's stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And so, the reason I'm looking at both screens, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all these different places right now. So I'm bouncing back and forth, reading questions and seeing. I see there's two people on Instagram. What's up, Instagram? It's crazy. I'm just trying to go live everywhere because here soon we're going to start doing videos of us getting all these dispatchers and the brokers and lining up the customer freight, doing the operations and stuff. And some freight sales stuff coming up here real soon. So it's going to get a lot more interesting here in the office at Shaggy's. And we're getting the other one going up there. So it's always about contracts and writing and figuring out the way, though. That's what makes it interesting when you're opening a new thing with so many moving parts and so many people out there that need guidance on what to do. You know how many trucking companies are out there right now? They got customers that are going to lose them because they can't figure out what to do with them or how to control those guys to keep from putting it on the load board so they don't go out of business or lose their customer or have a claim. Everybody's so scared about people stealing stuff. And all you got to do, David, is kind of pave the way and show them what they need to do and put the pieces together and have a platform for it. I wonder why. I always get it why people don't want to do the work. Sometimes you have to make the team to do the work for them and then still share the wealth together. It's kind of crazy how it works. So what is your trucking company plan? How many people are still opening a trucking company in this market? I've seen like 400 MC numbers this morning. Anybody on here opening a trucking company? How many have a trucking company right now with company trucks? It's not so much fun. Should you have a dedicated local regional route and actually attempt to call some customers before your authority goes active or before you even pay your bond and see if they'll work with you? I mean, what's the difference from you calling and talking to them and you're not going to tell them who you really are anyways until they ask. Louis Lambert says it's a party. I'm just asking because these are the calls I get. And it seems to be repeating, like Frank said, over and over and over, and why? Why are you doing it that way when you don't have to? Somebody smack your hand and say, or you know how many people I've seen because they didn't listen and do it the way they're supposed to? They went and got their CDLs when they're new and they bought day cabs instead of fucking semis because they had to own them, or they bought too many hot shots through Penske and they didn't get enough owner operators. And you know what's funny? Half the time when you're booking loads, the guy on the other phone says, "We just got this account yesterday or today, this morning, and it's a new one for us." And you're like, "What is it?" It's going from your backyard 300 miles away, and it's one load a day, every day. Oh, really? Huh. I got 2 trucks. We could do that. Oh, to just find. Nah, don't do that. I mean, they're telling you right there, but you're like, that's backsoliciting. Okay. Well, if you're not set up, you think those brokers would steal your customers if you gave them the information? You all freight. You think if there's a guy at TQL, what's good? There's nothing good going on here. What do you think if a guy's at TQL and or when they're desperate, one of these new brokers that these agents are out there? You think you pull a load for them and then you do one load and you have conversation and they find your customer in your backyard that they won't take it from you? They'll go cry when it happens. Well, they should have got more or did a better job, right? So, what kind of trucking company will you open? And will you do owner operators? Will you do company trucks? How will you diversify if your company driver, your truck can't run because your driver isn't there or you can't find another one? If you run a company truck and you spend 2,000 in fuel, 2,000 to the driver, 1,000 to you, 1,000 the truck and trailer payments plus 1,500 and fixed costs and escrow and a dispatch fee and factoring, you could be anywhere from 75, 8,000, 77, 8,000 to $10,000 a week. You're just going to do that one week, or you got to do that for 50. Because I don't think you guys are thinking that far ahead. I think you're thinking MC Authority, get insurance. Once I get the insurance, I get a consortium drug testing, get this hurried up, get the down payment paid. Then I get this paid, give me a factoring company, or I might do quick pays. Those factoring companies got me kind of scared. I don't understand recourse, non-recourse. They'll tell me there's no such thing. And then next thing you know, I'm active and I give me a load board. Ask me any question at all. All right, so it says, what's your advice for someone new to NRC? They just signed up as a driver with Swift to help them get their CDL asking for a relative. You got to there's 2 ways to do that, right? You either got to go and well, really 3 ways. One, you go to Swift, you give them a year, you go through their driving school, right? Like Pam, Swift, C1, they're all over the place, right? You either do it that way, where they pay for it, or you go to one of these colleges around here and you go into their college department. There's a ton of transportation colleges around right now. And you just go there to have the CDL program. And a lot of times they'll have financial assistance where they'll get you financial assistance for it. And then there's also some states, there's government assistance to get people jobs in trucking. Try those 3 routes. Though I would do the college first before I did the company because being locked in for a year and think you're going to get experience like that kind of sucks sometimes. So if you go the college way, then you get financed for it. A lot of times too, you just pay it back, or however, sometimes it's totally 100%. Then you have a choice to go to whatever company you want to go do your training at or work for, and let's say 3 or 4 months in, you don't have to worry about breaking no contract, and you got a little comfortable and your credit's good. Then you can get your authority then you become an owner operator and up your finances if you want to. But that's a lot of expense. You can go get $120,000 a year right now at Walmart, full benefits, everything. Just saying, a lot of people doing it. And so being an owner operator is kind of crazy nowadays, unless you have a company that can really pay you the money. Otherwise, if you're going to get your authority and be a one truck authority and you're not going to put owner operators on, you're pretty much one breakdown away or one bank account or a really bad 3 months. What do? Go back to being an owner operator or a company driver and just scratch it. So why would you take all that blood, sweat, headache, heartache to set up a trucking company and get it all going with one, not building your lanes and your freight and your customers before you go active? Because I didn't do that. And I would now. I will now. And then number two, right? Definitely building up. Understanding the diversity of trailers, leasing on owner operators, company drivers. How do I flip my equipment? Compliance, PSP reports, how to set up a maintenance program, shops, hours of service, why dispatching is so important to understand all this too. Because if they don't make the money for it, run the driver the right way and everything, then everything we just said is all screwed up, right? So, because that's a full time job. And then you got to dispatch a full time job. And then you got to make sure nobody's killing nobody. Then, then you got to figure out how you're going to maintain that for 50 weeks. So, but everybody's like, we'll never get there. You're already there. Well, you filed your authority and put a federal DOT number on the side of your truck. The IRS got a hold of you. The FD police got a hold of you. State and federal DOT got a hold of you. And every lawyer and fucking crazy scammer in the world just licked their chops like vampires. What's your plan? What are you going to do after you get the CDL? Do you really want to stay out that long? You're going to be the guy that goes and works at Yellow, works his way up through the dock? Or are you going to be the guy what are you going to do? That's what I tell the relative. What are you willing to sacrifice? And which way you want to do it? It's just like when a guy gets out of a military, so a lot of times they have a CDL from the government, right? But then they get out there, the first thing that happens, everybody's like, how much experience you got in the United States? Well, I'm from the United States. But you've been in the military. But I'm in the United States. But you've been in the military. So I got 15 years driving to old deserts and everywhere in the military. Well, your CDL is not worth nothing. You got to do a refresher course with our drivers like 3 months or 6 months. You don't have no experience. You got to regain it again? It's crazy. So what kind of plan? You get your authority, you know how to drive, get your authority, bypass it all. Then what will you do with it? Why isn't your wife helping you? Why are you dispatching? Once you get the compliance done for a trucking company and you get the insurance paid, you get the consortium and the clearinghouse and all that queries done, you get your safety programs, you get your Vault software, you get all this stuff done and everything, guess what happens? You're right back to the freight. What you could have got in the first place and lined it out if you knew how to post with directions. So let's talk about that real quick. So what I want everybody to do that's starting an authority, well, let's see if we have any in here. There's 9 people listening. How many trucking authorities, people that are listening that are flying through right now, plan on starting a trucking company, watching the market, wish they did, or whatever, or have one that they don't know what they're doing and the load board's messed up? Probably everybody in here already taken my training. There's no newbies. We never get newbies no more. Oh, Sean's here. Nice. Yeah. So if we knew what kind of freight we're going to go after as a broker, like drive-in, power only, whatever, right? Or if we knew what we were going to go after as a carrier, we're going to be flatbed, step deck, RG and lowboy, double drop, drive-in. We're going to do crane, trade show. We're doing ports. We're going to have chassis. What are we doing? We got to think about it. Are we doing drive-in power only? You're like, why would you do drive-in and power only? Well, the reason why I do drive-in and power only is so that way everybody with drive-in freight would call me, and the people that need people that have power units would call me too. Really? Yeah. Like not today or tomorrow, but for like 30 to 60 days when they're actually working those contracts where they're looking for people with trucks when customers need help. You know what I mean? You guys are all working a day tomorrow. So I'd start to think ahead. So the first thing I do is I think about my equipment I'm going to do, or I'm going to broker to, and the power only. Then I would think about the customers. What's up? All right, Instagram. All right, cool. Remember. So then I would think about, so then once I thought about the type of trucks as a broker carrier, so then I'd start thinking about where I'm going to work, but not the whole fucking state. Like I'd start specific areas like St. Louis, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Milwaukee. Then I'd start thinking about where those customers that are in those cities, and then I'd start thinking about where they're shipping it and where it's going and all that good stuff like that, right? If I was a broker, right? But sometimes you need to have help finding it out, because if you go to ThomasNet or Create Blue Book and all those places like that, it just tells you manufacturer volume. You see some websites and all that. So you got to really, really work hard. But it still doesn't tell you what broker's moving it or where the listed carriers are. Now, e-carrier check can help you, but it's not all in there either. Right? So what we got to do is be able to find out where that freight's at through brokering, through broker boards, load boards, or whatever, or emails, right? So, well, you guys that are brokers in your carriers, think about specifically, like, if you could do, if you didn't have to freight chase everywhere and you could stop right now and run like just Denver, or Denver to Kansas City to Kansas in and back to Denver, or whatever. How many people are you telling that you want to do that route on a daily basis, and reminding them when they're busy to don't forget about you and to sell for you? And then that's one way, right? And then another way, how are you doing that through the load boards, right? I know, because see, we all want to be trucking companies and we all want to make money and stuff like that. But then we don't answer our phone past 5 because we're two families first. It's too important. We can't do nothing on weekends. Our trucks are covered, so why do we leave the posting boards up? And we don't post anyways, because when we post, they call us with all the stuff that we don't want to fucking hear. It's like, you know how you go up there and you post and you say, like, you go, and I love it when people do it on the load board, and you're like, so, yeah, I see you had a truck posted and you go to New York. Yeah. Well, we go to New York. Well, do you go to New York City? No, we don't go to New York City. Do you go to Buffalo? No, we don't go to Buffalo, New York. Where do you go? Well, we go to this west side of New York, over here closer to PA. Well, okay. Well, so you go to Chattanooga, but you don't go to Knoxville, and you don't go to Nashville. You won't go to Smithville, just Chattanooga, but you go to the whole state of Tennessee. So what you need to do is start concentrating on specific areas and get people to tell you the customers that they're having problems with, right, brokers? So can carriers do the same thing before you start or after? Can you buy a subscription to carrier check and get a subscription to DAT without having an active MC number? And is there anybody stopping you guys from sending emails to people and telling them that I need freight within 100 miles of Dallas, or a freight within 100 miles of Shreveport, and I'm available every day for the next 60 days of my fleet of trucks? But even if you went to all that trouble to build this and do it, how many people would re-up it, update it, post it, send out new emails? You wouldn't, because you get busy. You get a couple guys to keep you fed, then you stop, because you guys have nothing to do with it. You don't have no other carriers to give it to. Nothing. You're not even active yet, so you won't do it anyways because you're too scared to do it, right? Right? You are. That's why we're all shut up right now. And I don't even know. Oh, are people still going to DC and fighting and wanting transparency? I don't even see that right now. All I see is owner operators looking for jobs. What about you guys? You know what you guys see? Where's all the guys mad? What are you gonna do? You gotta prepare for the storm to go blow over and get ready for the sunshine. You know what I mean? It's time to start preparing. Like right now, I guarantee you guys, no shit. Remember I said this, quote it, in the next month or so, 2 months, they're gonna say there's a driver shortage on the way to November here. Like here in September, October, all the way up to like November, between November and there. We're like, we got a driver shortage, we can't get enough trucks and all that stuff. It's gonna be crazy. It's the new news. We're going to have to bring on more stuff. No, there's no driver shortage. It's an idiot shortage because no one wants to work together and they all fighting each other. Brokers, it's just crazy. But anyways, so I would go to the load boards, right? And I'd go to ecarriercheck.com before you get started, or as a broker. Brokers do this too. It's really weird. And what I would do is I would tell people what I want. Like I think about what I want. I want dry van freight or power only freight within 100 miles of Indy or 100 miles of Shreveport going to this city. And then I would like to turn around and come right back. But you want to make a different post. And then when you go to the calendar on the top, click shift and go out 30 days. 60 days. And tell them in the email that you're available all the time and phone. People are like, this doesn't work. I'm telling you, it works. I promise. And then update it all the time, especially be available to talk after 3 and on weekends. Trust me, I promise you. Especially now, remember, this is when you post the truck going from St. Louis in the origin to St. Louis in the destination, not just origin, 150-mile radius. Hope to God they call to St. Louis, and then for 30 to 60 days out. Then when you guys make emails, send out emails to all these brokers and say, hey, in 21 days, or I'm already established. And we have trucks available all the time, almost every day that run St. Louis and anywhere around St. Louis. And we have trailers. We can do power only too if you need it. Give us a call. Send that out right now before you start your trucking company. You'll be surprised how many people say, well, once you get active, give me a call. We'll hook you up. We got some loads like that. Well, what kind of loads do you have? So I know ahead of time. Do you even know how much you need to tell them that you need for those 50 weeks? Like, have you figured up your fuel, your truck payment, your trailer, your insurance, your fixed costs, your escrow weekly, plus your driver, your pay, and the factoring fee and your dispatcher? That's nine deductions. Nine deductions for 50 weeks a week. Anyways, I know you guys are bored because everybody gets tired of me listening. Tonight is the last trucking webinar that I'm teaching at 6 p.m. It starts. You guys have till 5 to get signed up. After that, it's locked down, closed up, shipped out. We're done. And then September 5th is dispatching, and then brokerage is September 19th. Freight sells. Jared has to emergency, so I was going to tell everybody I got to call Sharag, and we're gonna move it one more time, so it's going to start next Wednesday for sure, no matter what, any period. Anyways, Jared asked to move it, so we're going to give it one more week because it gives people a little more time to get signed up. We're not only doing like 5 to 10 spots anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that one's going to be one of our best classes we ever did. We're really working hard on freight sales because it's really the problem everybody has. But trucking companies, what are everybody with one truck driver type, no CDL companies going to do right now if they can't get their company moving and the dispatchers aren't giving them what they need? That seems to be the topic right now. It's like crazy. And so many people shutting down their authorities because they didn't have plans. You see them. Almost every one of those owner-operator guys on Facebook. Like, I talked to a guy today that said he was going to do his outline profile for freight that he needed on Facebook. And I'm like, the people on Facebook are the ones that aren't doing the work. They might be networking and stuff, but you're not the ones doing the work, because if you were doing the work, you'd be on e-carrier check, calling 30 carriers a day to work with. You would be that are already established to service your customers. You'd be looking for new customers in the lanes of your carriers. You'd have so much work going on, and you'd be researching your customers so you know what you're talking about when you get to them, right? But we're not doing that because we're just so caught up being busy. What's up, William? Talking smack about one truck companies with no plans. Anyways, I just wanted to come on for a few minutes to chat, let you guys know the last trucking webinar comes on tonight, and all that stuff I already said. If you like it, replay the video. Make sure you share it. If you guys like the page, like the group. But we're getting closer and closer. William's on my list to call. I got a list of like 10 dispatchers and 10 agents that I have to call them all and go through a list of stuff do I know, so I can start putting what they need and then what customers they have that they have freight that needs to be taken care of on the table. Then I got to take that back to the dispatchers and get the dispatchers to go find the carriers that are just like William that want those customers. And then we're going to set them up for dispatching because they're just like William. And then we're going to go do it for them. It's going to be really, really crazy. We're going to show you guys bits and pieces of the videos and stuff while we do it and stuff over the next few months. It's going to be really cool as we build these 4 moving companies and stuff and do the freight sales. It's kind of crazy. So I keep repeating a lot of the same stuff. I don't have no new stuff on the new company yet because we're writing documents and getting everything ready to go. But It's going to be so cool to work with them. A lot of guys. We had a guy yesterday that was talking as one of our followers, so excited because he's had 2 and 3 trucks and he's been in the business forever and he's never. And then when I was telling him the story of what I'm doing with the new company for my third go around and how I'm doing it, he's like, "Man, you should have done this." Like I heard that like 6 times. You should have done this like 3 years ago. Should have done this shit like 18 years ago. If somebody would have helped me like I help people, man, back when I was a long time ago, we would have my trucking company would have been way bigger, way faster, and everything. And who's to say we're not going to be there? I've always had this obsession of having a fleet of a couple hundred owner operators, because if you could have a couple hundred owner operators and then a carrier base of like actually 10 agents or a couple 20 agents that actually did it. And then you think about all the dispatchers slash brokers working in-house assisting those guys. It's a crazy fucked up mess, man. It's a lot of crazy shit of people helping each other, talking all on these computer platforms and stuff because they're working. Because you really, if you, it's the operations and process that people don't understand. But you can put that in writing and lay it out. Then you go and grab them by the head and show them over and over a bunch of times instead of just throwing them out there on their own. It's really crazy. And you think people are doing that, but they're really not. You know what I mean? But we're going to do it. I can tell you that shit, buddy. We're going to fucking do it all. Like, we're going to do everything. Like, I can't wait. Like, I'm so excited to get back into dispatching, but this time it's going to be a little different when we open up Shaggy's dispatching part with the brokerage. Well, we're not really open a dispatching service, so it's going to be a logistics. But when we call these carriers up, it's going to be so cool when you call them up. You're like, got 10 trucks? You ever heard of these customers? You guys run your home every weekend? Are you guys and do you work for these guys? And are you guys home every weekend? You start asking these questions and stuff. You'll find out so many details about these businesses that these guys are leaving on the table, and then you're just going to pick up clients. I used to work so hard to get the younger clients, like the new ones, to get the authorities and stuff like that, and I don't really want those guys anymore. I figured what I do is I figure what I do is I'll just go after the bigger ones because now we're going to do the sales and stuff and find all their mistakes and tell them to them and then show them what we're going to do and try like hell to put a bunch of them together, put a rate on top of it and go sell it to some customers and make a margin off the top of it, giving carriers what they really want, asking them to the face. You're like, what's that different we do now? Well, then I'm going to bring in the dispatching guys to actually go and use the broker boards to find the backhauls that we have that we can fit in, and then we're going to go use those carriers plus our fleet and sell those guys too. And the reason we're going to do it is because all you guys are willing to do the work. You just don't know what you're missing. Okay, we're going to video it right here. Check it out. We're going to do videos over the next few weeks. I'll have Kyle. We're going to do interviews and stuff. It's going to be kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. It's funny. I'll do a funny one. You're going to be building credit for your brokerage, right? You know what I mean? Does anybody want to hear a funny one? Like, check this out. So when brokerages first start out, they gotta call factoring companies or wait for a carrier to take the load for factoring companies to prove their credit there, and those guys go to Estonia. So what I figured was once I had the brokerage set up, the dispatching set up, and all that with the work that we know and you guys know because you're doing it, that's going to be crazy, right? So I figured what I would do is I'd call the factoring companies and call up their department and be like, yeah, I got your client, Steve, with 4 trucks, your friend Jim over here with 3 trucks, and your other guy, Sam, over here with 4 trucks. And I was getting ready to go and sell freight for them and then book loads for them because they're all having a hell of a time. My name's Shaggy. I got references all over Facebook and YouTube and stuff. And the reason why I was calling is because I have a factoring company that I work with that can factor their freight and stuff. And I was going to do quick pays with them. But I wanted to just give you the opportunity before I not only help build your client, help move your client, plus I dispatch for your client. I just did. Can you guys work with us? Or did you need me to do all that stuff for your client and then move them over to the other company? Isn't that funny? It's kind of it's kind of like a whole new board game, right? You've always done bits and pieces of all of it, but now you're taking it a Jenga puzzle and putting it all the blocks under one table, and then you get to use all the stuff and have fun with it. It's just crazy because I've worked with all the factory companies forever, so it's gonna be really weird calling up like poor John Porter over there and say, "Yo, man, how you doing? Shaggy now. I got a brokerage now and I've got the dispatching and helping. It's like with it, and we got a trucking company going too and stuff. And I got a bunch of your clients here. You remember how I used to help you along? It's going to be a crazy conversation. Do you guys mind improving my credit and help working with me? They're your clients. Don't you guys make money off your clients? You ever think how crazy a guy can get whenever something gets crazy like that? It's like nuts, right? I'm sitting here drawing pictures out. It's pretty cool. It's amazing what knowledge can do and power and education, right? Could you imagine that? Like, I can't wait to call some of the factory companies I work with over there years. Be like, hey, yeah, now I'm the brokerage and I'm wanting to see if you guys can get credit. Well, what else you doing? Well, we're doing this. That's amazing. Yeah, it's been really well. We got like all these guys talking to bunches of carriers all the time. And bunches of them are yours, and they really want to pull our freight because we're doing sales on their behalf. Would you mind working with? Would you say no? It's like you're not that crazy or big. Who knows how big we get? We might just be a little guy for a little bit with no credit forever, and then maybe not. Maybe we actually have a bunch of freight, get lucky, put great minds together in a big group, and actually do something pretty cool. Then maybe we have fucking claims right off the back, and it puts us out, and nothing works. There's always risk in everything. But I can tell you one thing, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of drive, we have a lot of great carriers, we have a lot of great trucks, we have a lot of years of experience and a really big team of people that are all missing something that we can all put it together, but people still run on their own and do a lot of cool stuff. You know what I mean? Think about it. If you had 300 to 500 trucks that moved like a shifting unit, and you're like, well, everybody, like, think about this. Let me show you this. We were talking earlier. I was saying, what is the power of 10 in a network like Shaggy's, right? Think about it. So let's say you're one of my dispatch agents in my plan, right? Just say, everybody want to know? So a dispatch agent. So that's a person that works under my company and they make 40% off. You're like 40% off the freight that we teach them how to go do because they were dispatchers. They didn't know it. And they either get customers or I give them customers or the agents pass over freight and they help run an account. They make 40%. And then I'm going to pay them a dispatcher. I'm even going to tell you how I'm going to do it. So you're like, well, that does 4% of dispatching and 40% of the freight from all that, plus you having to sell, dispatch to trucks and do all that. It doesn't sound like much money. I'm like, I only want you to do 10 trucks that I'm going to teach you how to find, and their authorities are already going to be established. Nothing new. You're like, really? No new ones. Seriously. They're going to have trailers too, more likely. 10 of them. You're like, 10 of them. Yep. And if you do 7,500 a week plus, that's 350,000 a year of 50 weeks. You can change it however you want to. 4% of that is $75,000 if you're dispatched to. 4%, $75,000. But on the broker side, if you were to move $3.7 million worth of freight and you move 50% of that through your own brokerage that you went and found, and if you were to manage the truck and keep 50% to the trucks that you're helping, and they still got their 330 a mile or vice versa, that's 220 or about $200,000 a year, give or take 210 or 220 on top of that. So that's, you take one person and turn them into a person making $200,000 to $275,000 a year. Do you think that person will be available to work? One truck, one trailer is ready to play. See, that's what I'm talking about. The game is set. The people are there. Just everybody's one-sided. Why can't we do something together and make sure it all happens the right way? That is what we're working on right now. Do we share? How do we share? And then let's rock and roll. You know what I mean? Because that's a fat job. Why do we have to keep it all? And why can't we do what carriers can't and work together? Right? Think about that. An in-house agent working in an agent at Shaggy's Logistics, like Bob, making 4% of using other brokers' freight, which he's eventually going to try to get carriers. You got to get carriers. Bob has to get carriers. So if Bob uses other brokers with the carriers that they aren't taking care of to pull his other freight, and he makes 4% off of 7,500 plus per week dispatching, which could be almost 70, 50 to $100,000 a year. But the key is not the 10 trucks in the dispatching. That's nothing. It's the money that he's going to keep off the freight now because he's doing both sides. But see, Bob, he may not want to do all the other sides. So there again, you still have that same team right there doing some of the stuff that Bob don't want to do. What if Bob just wants to sell and make a percentage? Oh, no, 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 no. This will be started by September 19th, my last boot camp. We're already starting. I'm doing interviews with people right now, setting up the dispatchers. I'm not putting no rookie people in this stuff, man. I got all these great students and stuff like Tarina and Harris and Chandler and Gary Pyron and just all these, man, Isaiah's Riviera. William Triplett. I got all these great people right here in front of me. I just got to go put the paperwork in order, set the operations up, and redo everything I did and figure out where I'm going to send it. We're already busy. Like the gate's already there. Like when the whole business mindset I have is everything I've taught thousands of people, putting it into play and doing something that's simple. Everybody's going to get what they want. We're just going to do it all together. And the reason, and Frank's like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I understand it's a lot of work. Hell, you're already doing it, but you guys are doing it all wrong. If you could do half the work, more better work, but do half the work you're doing now, but do more better work and make twice as much money, would you do it? Oh, that's because when you go work for those other brokerages, they don't train you on this stuff. Just ask anybody that's worked for other brokerage if they supply training to where you get all this stuff like that. And they actually do it with you all the time and put freight on front and do it. No, you have to learn to do it the hard way. I mean, you're still going to have the hard way, and nothing's magic, right? That's the best part. You know what? If you want to drive, I appreciate that. We want you to drive. But how many times when you drive do you have a chance while you're driving all week to make any form of other income but what you get paid for? And does your company come to you and say, hey, man, I know at our company, we really appreciate, you're like, but I'm a company driver. Nobody will do this for you. See, Frank keeps saying it. You guys heard it. Frank says nobody's going to do the work. I just interviewed 3 this morning and they all say they're going to do work, but Frank says I can't be done. Well, he can't pull it off. I want people just to drive. I like it, Michael Kohler to drive. I want people like Michael Kohler, that's an owner, operator, lease purchaser, to drive. But if Michael Kohler gets a customer and he's at a customer that it's his first time there, and the customer says, hey, Michael, man, you're doing a really good job. You're the first motherfucker that was, you're the first guy that was here all week on time. And he said, seeing is believing. It's not seeing is believing. We've been doing it in training classes and helping people for the last 13. Well, now for me, this will be 17 years. We got enough proof. Hell, I can show you all the stuff. The problem is, I have nothing to lose unless I let you guys cause a claim or there's some big lawsuit or whatever. I have nothing to lose. You're good. You guys are all going to do the work. I'm telling you that to your face. I'm just going to train you, teach you, do the live phone calls, give you customers, help you close residual deals and stuff, and show you how to get started. Then when you forget about all of it, we're going to try to catch the rest of it too. It's perfect. It's like, and we're going to start slowly, because the big part about all this is funding. Because you got to be able to wait for money to come in and pay for people while you're doing it. You could grow faster, what you can handle funding, and have a lot of stuff go wrong. So we can't let that happen. And I'm not in a hurry anyways. But it's going to be fun. Think about it, Ivan. Should have already had 7 dispatchers and 30 fucking trucks, 50 trucks, plus the other freaking 20 some odd truck I'm dispatching. And you guys that are in here have seen it. You know how many people that are in my face group have seen me do or seen exactly what I'm talking about, like in all these PowerPoints and stuff. And it's like, You know, the only thing that's happened over the last 4 years, 5 years is one, I've seen how to build an affiliate program. I see where they're at. I see no one listened to what we preached about the economy changing, and they're all falling under the butt, losing their authorities and stuff, and no one had plans. I see how they're going to change the dispatching law. I see carriers out there getting customers and not knowing what to do with them. You know what I mean? I see owner operators that get complimented by carriers and drivers and our customers all the time. But if they knew what to do with them, they could actually capitalize in another way, because that's an opportunity when they hear the certain words to be able to work with somebody else and make money too. I see all these opportunities. I've just never put all the platforms together and really had the full keys to manipulate the process all the way through, like with fucking strings on each one. And now I get to put it together and bounce around like this real crazy clown popping up, annoying the shit out of you, making sure you get to do it right. And if you don't, I'll just kick your ass out and send you down the road so you can go fucking do the same shit you're doing over, because I really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, it's the best part about this whole business. Ivan says in 15 years it'll be gone. It may be, but that gives me 15 years to get the freight, control the system, and provide a service that's not automated. So I don't think so. It'll be a lot longer than that. They can keep trying, but that'll be the debate. Less it'll be gone or not. We'll see. It's the whole point, right? Sharing the wealth, percentage here, percentage there. They do the work, they get their share. It's why you like tipping and stuff all the time. I get it. I get it. Doing what we're doing is kind of like a preacher preaching stuff. He has to get people to come to follow. Then you have to have missionaries spread the word, and we have to follow the product. You know what I mean? It's like you have helium in a tank and you have a balloon you built. Now you got to do is stick the balloon on it and let it start blowing, because we already have everything to hold the balloon, secure the balloon. Now we just got to air it up without it blowing up along the way, and figure out how far we want it to get, right? Right? How far it goes. Anyways, guys, peace out. I got a lot of work to do. We got a class tonight. Trucking webinar start. Like I said, you guys now have 2 hours to get signed up for the last trucking webinar I'm going to do, because I'm moving all my time to the new business. And man, if not, I wish you the best. Pay attention to the network. And the next webinar coming up that you're going to have is dispatching. And we're going to start freight sales on Wednesday, because Jared needs to start the full round. And we're doing it kind of a test trial, so we'll work something out. So I got to let the people already signed up know. It's the last time, I promise. I know when people fire me. But they're all in the other webinar anyways. Oh, it's Tire Killer. Tyler Killer is the perfect guy that if he could fit into this program, he would actually bring me customers. He doesn't know it yet, but he's so tired. He's just so doing it all himself. Like he said, he's the second baseman. So I'm going to give him the rest of the team to a point for his company, right? Everything that I preached in there, we're going to help. It's going to be fun. Pretty cool. It's kind of cool going through all this process. It's been a long time since I've had to do an S corp. It's been a long time since I've waited for my authority and did a bond and contingency cargo insurance, and then I'm rewriting all the contracts with Yimi from down to the T and putting non-competes in. All this stuff's kind of cool because we want the whole process. Like I've already wrote the training, right? Like what they're going to do in a day, like how you're going to look for 10 customers a day. While you're there, you're going to submit how you're going to submit the sheets to get paid at the end of the week, and the different commission levels they're going to have. It's going to be really cool. I already have all that worked out. Matter of fact, it's kind of fun. Anyways, guys, don't forget the last trucking webinar. And then, so we do have in-persons that are going on, and people are calling like crazy. So all the trucking webinar is going to turn into in-person. So after the only thing you guys have left to do is come for in-persons, and then you guys can always give me a call at 812-870. But if you guys want to come see me in person and really work on trucking, brokering, dispatching, you can book 2 days, Monday and Tuesday of every week just about, unless I'm gone doing a tournament or something. And then and you could come and we can work on, like you can bring your customers and we'll call them. You can bring your dispatching problems and we'll work on them. You can bring your trucking company, we'll work on fixing it. You can bring your brokerage, we'll set it up. You can do it right here in my office, right there, and where I do the maps and all that stuff. We'll work right here. And then once we have the other office set up, we can go over and see the other office too while it's happening, or we'll have a lot of it being on Google, like Google Workspace and stuff, where you guys can log in. I like that thing, so we'll log in, and we'll be doing a bunch with Miss Marie Romero and stuff. So it's kind of cool. We have a lot of support. It's amazing when you teach so many people like Kathy Townsend and Tammy and stuff like that, and you have such a great support group, whether they work with you or not, which they probably will. They're all willing to help you, making sure you do it right. Isn't that funny? It's kind of like having a big network to help you, just because you're always there for people and you answer the phone all the time and stuff. It's like really crazy that happens like that. You know what I mean? What's up? It's crazy having people on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's kind of wild. The only thing I'm not on is TikTok. I need everybody to go like TikTok, my TikTok thing, so I can get 1,000 people and I can go live on there too. I guess that's how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I'm just starting out. Laters, guys. Be good. Have a great one. Enjoy yourself. I got to get something to eat. I got training tonight. Have a great night.